All right, we're back in the courtroom again. The question is in this context. When you're called upon to interpret the law, what considerations do you believe to be appropriate, and what, if anything, should not be considered?
To some extent, I think every case is a certain set of facts, and I agree with Attorney Cart in that sense. You have to start with the facts. At Notre Dame, we were trained to take the facts, then examine the law, then apply the law to those facts, and then to arrive at a conclusion. And I think all of us, I don't want to speak for the others, but I think all of us on a daily basis do that in our head without even thinking about it. It would be my guess. But in terms of interpretation of the law, you obviously, I don't know if anyone's touched on it yet, but you can't shrug off your own experiences in the world. I think that you have to look at things through the veil of what you've learned and where you've been in terms of your experiences. Now, you always have to come back to the law. As we were also trained, we're supposed to love the law, and that's something that we're supposed to respect. But I don't think you could just throw out who you are when you're interpreting the situation. Now, certainly I'm not going to be an activist, and there really is no room to be an activist in the district court, but you have to take the facts, the certain facts that you have to know the law, and then you have to apply it to that certain set of circumstances.
Thank you. We've now reached the point in our program, believe it or not, when the formalized questions are done. The next portion of our program is going to deal with a 3-minute statement, which is referred to as a closing statement, by each one of the individuals here as to why it is they believe they are the appropriate candidate for the position that we're talking about here tonight. And keep in mind, it's 3 minutes, ladies and gentlemen, and we ask that you do your best to stay within 3 minutes and to, as they say, polish your apple as best you can. Mr. Snodgrass?
The first thing I want to say is that I'm proud of this campaign so far. I've worked with each and every one of these people, some on a regular basis. And to me, when you start this process, you're nervous about it because you don't know how it's going to go. And quite frankly, these people have, and I hope myself included, have acted with integrity, and I'm going to easily be able to practice with any of them thereafter, and that's refreshing to me in today's time. So I just wanted to make sure I said that. I started my first answer, Mr. Rising, with my father, and I think it's appropriate that I end with him as well. I certainly want everybody to know that I'm not running in his wake or on his coattails. He certainly was a good man and a good jurist, but times are different today, and I'm a different person than he is. I look more like my mother than I do like my father, but I have more of her personality than I did of his. But I grew up with this. That's the one thing I wanted to talk to you about. When officers came over for warrants at 2 in the morning, my room was right near where he met with them to make sure that they were doing things correctly. And you sort of start to dream about this kind of thing when that's your situation, and that's my situation. And I started from that very first time that I could remember knowing what he did, dreaming about it. But more concretely, I want to just distinguish myself in a couple of different ways. I'm good at docket management. I've done it for the last 7 years, essentially, of my 11-year career. And essentially what a district court judge has to be is someone who can do that. And we need that in today's time in terms of efficiency. I'm born and raised and I live in this community today. This is where the seat is. I'm very proud to have come back here after school, and I've lived here in this community. In fact, I could throw a stone and hit the courthouse. But most importantly, I think I have a law enforcement perspective. I went into public service at the beginning of my career, and I've stayed in public service. I've committed myself to serving this public. And I have a law enforcement perspective that I'm going to bring to this seat, which I think is important. But most of all, I want to highlight my community service. I think that separates me from the other candidates here in terms of who's been on the street meeting with people on a daily basis throughout their career. I've dedicated my life to community service after my job. And to me, that's the most important, the district court judge, most important aspect the district court judge can have. You have to know your community in order to rule on it. And I just want to say thank you.